Shalom, my Hebrews and Shebrews. It's Oilfield Disciple ending another day. We're headed home after a long day at work and Bible study. Um, which Bible study is what is inspired this video here. Um, we got into the discussion of predestination and election again, and I thought I might make this video um, to help better understand that one. I mean, that one can be a hard one to wrap our minds around of. And I know I've made videos on this one before, but with this question that was brought up tonight, that you know, we should just continue to discuss it, to help us all get our minds wrapped around it. Um, in Romans 8:28 says, "All things work together for good to those who love God according to His purpose." And then it goes on down into that He chose us to be conformed to the image of His Son. And so that's going to be our key for the topic here for this discussion, is being conformed to the image of Christ um, through a process that it's not just an immediate deliverance of coming out of the world. There is a process that God walks us through. So I'm going to flip the camera around here, um, and we're going to discuss it. So I pray this message will bless you, encourage you, and even frustrate you. Go check this stuff out for yourself. Go Romans 8:28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and see what God says about it. So let me get flipped around here and let's discuss this topic. All right. Flip the camera around because I can't drive with that light shining in my face. And y'all probably don't want to just sit there and stare at me anyway. Um, okay. Being conformed to the image of His Son is the key to that whole passage there. That if we just look at God's sovereign election, whether we're coming from the position that, we don't understand all of God's ways or not, the basic principle that we have to look at is that, you know, for one, He's the sovereign creator, the sovereign Lord, the sovereign Father of all. And so, whether we understand it or not, He still gets to make the rules and decisions, which means that, He gets to look at you and I, and if He so chooses, you get to go to glory and I get to go to eternal damnation. It's His choice. Whatever that um, purpose may be, it's his choice, and we have to understand that. But let's understand it to the point that we don't get angry with God, or we don't get angry that it's not fair. And you know what? It may not be fair. It may not. That's not for me to judge. It's not for you to judge. But if we can understand it in its proper context, um, not only will it help us grow in Christ and help us become better servants of our Lord, um, but it'll also reflect that glorious light into this dark world and maybe help someone else come to the knowledge of truth. And so the question is how could our Lord, our Father, condemn someone to hell, especially if it may be a child? Because we're talking about, the Amalekites, that Saul was told to go and slaughter them all, kill them all, man, woman, child, beast, everything. Um, and how could God just take out a 6-year-old, Well, I've, like I've spoken on before, the wheat and the tares, We don't know what this 6-year-old is. We don't understand the full gravity, and we don't understand the full concept of God's plan to know why He said man, woman, and child. They're all spawns of Satan. I don't know. It doesn't. That's that's where we get into trouble, and we don't want to get into a position that takes us out of our understanding, or whatever the case may be, that would cause us to grow angry with God, and see God as this um, mean, evil creator, that for just whatever whim decides to condemn you to hell or condemn me to hell, without merit. He says, I have compassion on who I'll have compassion, and I'll put wrath upon who I'll put wrath upon. We just have to understand that, but that all things work together for good to those who love Him, according to His purpose. What's wrong? What is His purpose? Talked about that a little bit Sunday. That you know, according to His purpose, that none should perish. His children won't. The ones that the ones that are His will not perish. What we have to be careful of is we don't get into that idea that, well, He's already picked me, or He hasn't picked me, and so I can continue to live however I want. If we live however we want, I believe the process of redemption is going to be a little bit more grueling for us, and we may miss out on blessings. And um, I don't know. You can get into a whole myriad of you know tit for tats that you know I don't know. I'm not even gonna make this video. We're done.